Okay, so I'm sure you've seen all the reports that birth rates are down across the world. I'm meaning this. It's just incredible. A Financial Times study actually looked at 195 different countries, and what they found is that country after country, the birth rates just started falling. This is not a coincidence. Right after the smartphone arrived. That's right. No matter the culture, no matter the economy. Now, the younger the age group, the steeper the deep. And the US and UK data shows that the decline hit fastest in areas that got 4G first. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, smartphones ate the stork. So, apparently, spending all day on your phone really is the world's most effective birth control. And on that happy note, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this. It's the nation's largest, best, award winning show about all things digital. It's called The Kim Komando Show because I just happen to be America's beloved digital goddess, Kim Komando, here with you once again. And just a reminder that you can find us on over 430 top stations from coast to coast. And we're streaming in your favorite radio app. Just search for Komando with a K, of course. And you can also get The Kim Komando Show as a podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. Oh, and this is so fabulous. If you haven't already checked out our YouTube channel, go to youtube.com/Kim Komando. And that's where you can actually see us do the show, go behind the scenes. We got a lot of shorts and great stuff like that. A lot of tips, too. Again, that's youtube.com/Kim Komando. And when you're there, make sure that you go ahead and subscribe to the channel, leave some comments, a thumbs up, because that helps us. This is a secret. This helps us work the algorithm because the more comments we get, the more thumbs up. That's when YouTube's great computers say, oh, we should show more people the Kim Komando Show. Hey, now, in case you're wondering, where's Andrew? Well, he called in sick today, so he'll be back next week, of course. And now, you know the drill is that the Komando hotline's open right now, and you can reach us by dialing 1-844. That's Komando with a K, of course. And if you're more the type where you don't want to sit on hold, because some people actually sit on hold for hours, is that you can schedule a time to speak with me right here on the show by heading to the official homepage of the Kim Komando Show. That's with a K, of course, Komando.com. And there's a link in the upper right-hand corner that says Ask Kim. And I'd like to thank Consumer Cellular for helping to make this show possible. You know, there are really only 3 major wireless networks in America, and they charge a premium. Why? Because they can. Now, the good news with Consumer Cellular, you get the same reliable 5G coverage without paying those inflated prices. And that's more money in your pocket every single month. And when you call Consumer Cellular, let me tell you, this is amazing. You actually talk to a real human being right here in the U.S. You're not pushing a bunch of buttons to reach someone. No frustrating AI chatbot loops, just friendly, award-winning customer service when you need it. So trust me, you're not going to sacrifice coverage or quality or service. You're going to simply be making a smarter choice and getting better value for your money. And now, right now, let me tell you, this is a really fabulous deal. If you're over 50, you get 2 lines of unlimited talk, text, and data for only $60 a month. And for a limited time, you're also going to get, listen to this, $200 off your bill. So this is the best deal that they've ever offered. So to do it and to get this deal, go to consumercellular.com/Kim and use this special promo code KIM200. That's consumercellular.com/Kim. And the promo code is KIM200. Now, every single day in my life, let me tell you something I do. I just go to so many different websites. I read white papers. I talk to industry insiders. And I actually have some friends who are hackers, and they let me know what's going on so that this way I can make sure I know exactly what's happening in the tech world. And then I can have this transference of intellect and knowledge and fun directly from my beautiful brain to yours. And here are some things that you need to know about. And we're going to start with Meta. Like so many different companies out there, is that they had some massive layoffs this past week. And of course, they are blaming artificial intelligence. They actually laid off 8,000 people. Think about that, 8,000 families affected. And then in the same breath, this is why I'm talking about, not because of the layoffs, they announced that it's capturing keystrokes from the surviving employees. Why? To train artificial intelligence. Yeah. You're understanding this correctly. They fired 8,000 and then they told everyone still there, anything that you do on your computer, anything that you do for us, is that AI is going to be capturing it and then learning from you so that this way it can become its own AI agent. It's going to replace you. And there's a company called Blind. I don't know if you've ever heard about this. It's an anonymous workplace review app. And they said this past week that the culture scores on Meta dropped by almost 40%. Okay, that's not really shocking when you consider everything's going on. I mean, this is a strategy. Now, Meta is the first company who has actually come out and said this firsthand. I mean, they're pulling off the Band-Aid. Okay, they're laying off everybody. And then the people that are there, they're trying to figure out exactly what they're doing so that this way they can have what? AI replace them. All right, moving on to number 2. Let's talk about cryptocurrency, because so many of you are confused about what's going on with crypto. And of course, anytime I write about crypto, I get so many different questions. But this is a stat that really surprised me, is that 1 in 4 Americans are actually trading and buying and selling cryptocurrency right now. 42% are women. And meanwhile, the Senate Banking Committee, they approved something called the Clarity Act. I don't know if you've heard about this. It's a major stablecoin regulation that would really make cryptocurrency behave more like real money. And things are going official very, very quickly. Now, crypto is mainstream when Congress actually knows what it is, which reminds me, I was speaking with my little nephew. His name's Owen. And he asked me, Kim, where is money now? I mean, where is money? How do I see money? Because when you think about it, a young child, like Owen is 6 years old, he doesn't really need money. He doesn't use money. He doesn't see his parents like give him quarters or dollar bills or anything like that. Meanwhile, let's talk about cryptocurrency and kids. A college student changed his crypto wallet password while he was high one night. Yes, you heard me right. And here's the thing, is that if you have cryptocurrency, you actually need to remember the password, because it's not like you could just do like, oh, password reset. Yes, that's a fire hydrant. No, It does not work that way. So he forgot it, and he had a stash of 5 Bitcoin, and it grew from $1,250 to $400,000. After 11 years of trying to crack this password himself, he turned to Claude, which worked through thousands and thousands of possible combinations based on his memory fragments. And it analyzed his old college computer files. And it actually found the right wallet backup. And then boom, that $400,000 was his. He reportedly wept. That's fair. ChatGPT, this is really interesting, wants to become the nosy accountant inside your checking account. They've done a deal with a company called Plaid. And that is the account and the app that will connect your banking app, for example, to another app, maybe something like Zelle or Venmo. And so what it's going to be doing is tracking your paychecks, your debts, your medical copays, every regrettable Target run, so that this way you can exactly see where all your money's going. I mean, this is really funny. I mean, it's going to be like your tiny little AI accountant courtroom, and they're like, did you really need to go to Costco for one thing and end up with 500? And here on the Kim Komando Show, we don't get political. We don't. But I do need to talk to you about the White House app. Now, before you even think of going and leaving me a comment or a note on the website or a DM anywhere and saying, oh, Kim Komando, you're a Trumper. Kim Komando, you hate Trump. I mean, oh my gosh, it just goes both ways. Is that we need to talk about the White House official app that was released in March. It turns out that there's some spicy plumbing on the inside. The app sends precise, allegedly, GPS location data every 4.5 minutes to a third-party advertising company. It routes 77% of its network traffic to outside companies. It loads code from a GitHub developer who could change what runs on your phones. Now, the administration has responded, and this is all the Android side, by the way, not the Apple app. If you don't have the Android app installed, I probably recommend that you keep it that way. And this is big news. Let me tell you, I've already been on the phone with my Morgan Stanley folks saying, I don't know how you guys and gals can pull this off, but we need to be part of the SpaceX IPO. And the ticker symbol is going to be on NASDAQ, SPCX. SPCX. Now, Alibaba has the old IPO record. Back in 2014, they raised $21.5 billion. And I remember that. Everybody was just like, oh my God, where did this company come from? And oh, this is an amazing amount of money. Well, now it looks like a garage sale receipt. Elon Musk rocket company is going to raise $75 billion at a $1.25 trillion valuation. Oh my gosh. Now, let's look at the numbers. SpaceX lost $4.9 billion last year. Okay, I know there were some trades and some things going on the inside. Bottom line, that's 4.9. I couldn't imagine. I wouldn't be able to sleep. I'm just telling you right now. If I lost $4.9 billion, I'd be like, we need to go, we need to do something. Starlink X and XAI are now one financial lasagna. The crazy part is that Elon Musk's net worth may cross $1 trillion because he has a 42.5% equity stake. He has almost 84% of the voting power. Wow. You know, what does Musk call his X from space? You know what? SpaceX. Thank you. Thank you. Meanwhile, this is really fascinating to me what people can come up with. You know, if given enough time, effort, energy, and imagination. A Canadian couple tried an experiment. Here's the question. Could Tesla's full self-driving subscription pay for itself delivering Uber Eats? Okay, you have a Tesla, full self-driving, okay? Can it actually make you some money? Well, they drove for 2 hours and they made $17.60. Okay, the self-driving mode, or FSD, it had some problems. It ignored GPS instructions. It veered off course. It hit a few potholes. So the humans did have to take over. To break even on the $99 a month fee, the couple needed to do this roughly 6 more times a month, assuming the car cooperates. And that's the problem. I mean, I know. So I'm going to tell you about my Tesla, and then I know you're going to be sitting there going like, oh, Kim, you don't like your Tesla and stop talking about it. Okay, I had a Tesla for about 3 weeks. Oh, my gosh. I thought I was going to die in that thing. Plus, I didn't really like the workmanship. And that way, the doors didn't quite close the right way. But, you know, on the positive note is that it did have holiday mode, and then it would create all this like Christmas energy. And it did fart. Yeah, it did have farting sounds. Full self-driving mode. I think it stands for, instead of FSD, full self-disappointing mode. Hey, think about all the irreplaceable moments on your computer, your kids' photos, important records, years of work, and so many memories. Now, if your computer crashed today, how much would you lose? It happens every single day, and it's just completely preventable. That's why I use and recommend Carbonite. It's my #1 choice for cloud backup. Carbonite gives you unlimited automatic protection for everything that matters. It quietly backs up all your photos, your documents, your important memories in the background, safely, privately, and always just a click away on your computer or that mobile app. So Carbonite is truly the ultimate backup plan. It protects you from the unexpected, from accidental deletions, and then we have hardware crashes and spills and fires and floods and other natural disasters. And if something does happen, recovery is so easy. You just log in, restore everything with one click, even on a brand new computer. And right now, get 50% off at carbonite.com/Kim. That's carbonite.com/Kim. Live a better digital life with Carbonite. All right, let me tell you what's coming up. Oh my gosh. There's a specific prompt that you're going to be doing using your favorite AI chatbot. And when you do, you're going to be like, I am floored. I am astounded. And it gives you something on a scale of 1 to 10. And I tell you right now, I only got about well, I'm not going to tell you what my number is. You're just going to have to wait for that. And of course, we just have the best callers ever here on the Kim Komando Show. Let me tell you, every single day I send out a free newsletter, and it is truly a labor of love. I don't know if you've taken a look at the newsletter called The Current, but from top to bottom, I want to make sure that every single sentence, just like here on the show, even if you just tune in for just a moment, that you get one valuable fun fact, or you learn another thing, or you just kind of have to groan at a bad joke. And so if you're not already signed up for The Current, join a million folks who get it every single day over at getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. All right, when I saw this video, I was astounded. I just kind of sit there and went, what is going on with this? And I'm not the only one who saw this video. 7.3 million folks that we just stopped scrolling. You had total strangers on the highway in real time. They activated their hazard lights. They started forming a rolling roadblock and one per lane, and nobody honked, nobody sped around, all because a car was veering in a lane and out of a lane. And, I like to sing a song when that happens. And I sing, like, this lane is my lane, this lane is your lane. Okay. They did more. They actually tried to figure out what was going on. And joining us right now to talk about it is Renee and Johanna. Hello there. Thanks for being here with us. Um, Gosh, so this was Mother's Day, and you were just out for a ride, right?
I was actually supposed to be heading to Mother's Day
Oh, okay. All right.
and out with my family, and I forgot some important papers for my mom, and I turned around and was heading home, and when I turned around, I encountered the vehicle swerving,
And so,
and so I got behind it.
what was your first thought when when you saw this?
Something wrong. I didn't know if it was, if they were drunk. I didn't know if it was a medical emergency. So I put on my hazards and I called 911.
Smart.
And, other people were just going around honking and almost hitting it. I got on the phone with 911. I gave them all the information of the car, make, model, color, license plate, told them where I was, what exit, and stuff like that. They said, okay, great, we'll send someone out. 5 minutes later, I'm still tailing this person. No one's coming out, and I'm approaching other exits. I call back, get the other, 911 operator. She said, yes, ma'am, we have your call. Well, where are you now? I told them where I was, and I'm like, when are they coming,
Right.
And then next thing you know, another lady, the Tundra, joins in, and that was Tiara. And so she joins in, and she's talking to my daughter, who's in the passenger seat. And she's asking, are they drunk? We're like, we don't know. And so then another driver, the white truck on the left side, joined in. He's like, are you with them? Are you following them? I'm like, no, I'm on the phone with 911 again.
Wow.
I said, I've been following them now for like 10 minutes.
Now,
And
what was your
911 here.
what was your speed?
They were going 35 miles an hour.
Okay, on a freeway.
On the freeway.
Okay.
Which is supposed to be 60, and
Correct.
they were literally veering from the middle lane to the right lane to the left lane.
Wow, that's frightening. It is. And
It was.
so what made you decide to stay behind instead of going around?
Because I couldn't
Oh, I see.
let,
Okay.
I just couldn't let, no, not that I couldn't go around. I was afraid something would happen. I couldn't
I
let
see.
anything happen to the person and just leave them be.
Okay. That's because you mentioned like people just would go around, but that's not you. You wanted to make sure
No,
that this person was okay.
right.
Okay, so all three of you are keeping this car as almost a roadblock, so nobody else would be in harm's way. So how long were you driving like that?
All three of us, I don't know. Renee, how long were you filming?
When I pulled up, and I was behind that whole barricade for about 6 minutes, so I can at least say that they were doing it for longer than 6 minutes because I was behind it all
Wow.
for 6 minutes. And so even when
Wow.
I pulled up, I was like, what is going on? Like, why do they all have their flashes on? And then you see, because I'm driving a truck, so you can literally see over everybody. You can see the road ahead. And I'm like, there's nobody ahead but this one car. And then the car is swerving. And so I actually videoed like 2 short videos, but I videoed it because I was like, nobody's going to believe if this guy hit somebody.
Right.
Like everybody would have to stop to be the witness. And with our state, if you're good with witnesses, it's better off. But it was like, I'm just going to video this because I want to make sure that if something happens, like there was proof that this is what was happening before the if something major actually happened.
Oh, well, for sure.
then
It was really it was smart that
Yeah.
it was smart that you did video all this. Absolutely, 100%. Now what I thought was interesting when I was looking at, ladies, at the stats for this video is that I've heard that TikTok, you have 7.3 million views and everybody loves what's going on.
It's almost at 8 million.
Oh, is it? Wow.
Oh my gosh.
That's amazing. Okay.
It's almost at 8 million. And then on Instagram, it's at another 3.5 million.
And then the comments that you're getting on Instagram are totally different than what you're getting on TikTok. Talk to me about that.
So posted on TikTok. There were a lot of comments, and they go back and forth with each other, but there are a lot of comments about medical emergencies and not just assuming the person is drunk. And, they were very concerned. So on TikTok, there's a lot of concern on that. And then a lot of arguing about, you should have just let us go past. But there were a lot more people on TikTok saying, no, like it's a good thing. And when I decided to post it, I posted it because it was just like a feel-good moment for me. Like everything that's going on in our country, there are 3 complete strangers that were willing to protect the rest of the drivers from one driver and to make sure that, that this driver didn't hurt or kill someone else. There's so many sad stories that go, the drunk driver killed so-and-so, or the drunk driver killed, and all I kept thinking was, this is Mother's Day, and these 3 strangers decided out of the goodness of their hearts that they would protect, this, or try to protect this particular incident from being something terrible.
For sure. No, that was really fabulous. Yeah.
I remember seeing that someone said, but it's very different how people respond between TikTok and Instagram on another post. I said, well, you know what? I'm a scientist at heart. Let me run that investigation. And sure enough, I posted it on Instagram, and immediately it was crazy. It was like, yeah, that car probably has lane assist. And I'm like, that's not lane assist. But they were going back and forth, and you guys are idiots. You don't know when a car is a self-driving car. And I'm like, whoa.
Isn't that fascinating though?
Instagram
Is that you have two different.
Just a lot more attacking of each other.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That you have 2 different platforms, and the response is 100% different. Now, so this person was having a medical emergency. Is that correct?
We do not think so. Tiara and I both were. Yeah, Tiara and I both were able to get a good look at the driver. The driver in the video, there's an exit you guys can see, but that exit is where the driver exited, and then I also exited at that same time. And then I was still behind the driver, and I was thinking, I'm sure hope there's going to, because this is a 2-lane, not a 3-lane that we were about to be on. And so I was just thinking, like, this is not going to be good, because it's also an overpass, like a very high overpass. And so if it turned out to be an accident on the overpass, like traffic really would have been backed up, and he could have really hurt himself pretty bad at that point. And I finally got a chance to get on side of him and go around to be able to pass him, and it was not a medical emergency. He was not slumped over. He was not unaware. Like, I'm not going to say he was aware, but he was not slumped over. Eyes were open. Hands on the wheel.
So he didn't. It sounds like he didn't even have a clue that this was even going on. I mean, that this was even happening.
He never looked left or right. It was very much focused, hands at 10 and 2, head and eyes straight forward.
Yeah,
looking to the
I wonder
left
if
to the right.
He must know actually right now that this is going on. Because of all the videos that have been going on. 8 million views on TikTok. That's huge. Well, ladies, thank you for joining us and telling us your story. Because, think about that. Would you be the person who would actually hang behind, or would you be the one that goes around and gosh, it's just crazy when you start thinking about it. Lucky he's okay. Passwords are the key to your digital life, but if you're reusing them or just tacking on a number, you're practically hanging up a big come on in sign for hackers. NordPass can help, and right now get 52% off at nordpass.com/Kim. That's nordpass.com/Kim. Hey, this is important. Every time you go online, internet service providers track your every move. So protect your privacy like I do. Use ExpressVPN. You can get up to 4 extra months by going to expressvpn.com/Kim. That's expressvpn.com/Kim. Hey, before we go back to all of your phone calls, we have some AI tips to share. Let's talk about your car, because a lot of people don't realize that your car is really just a roving computer with a big old database. And inside has your contacts, your text, your garage code. That address that you typed in a few months ago, it's all in there. And when you sell your car, you trade it in, or this is really important to even know if you have a rental car, is that all that data just stays behind. And the numbers are really wild. 9 out of 10 dealers promote that they will, 9 out of 10 dealers promise to wipe customer data, and 8 out of 10 used cars still have all this in. So here's what you need to do. Before you turn in the keys for your rental, for a car that you're getting rid of, make sure that you get into the infotainment system. And you got to dig a little deep in there inside privacies and settings. And you want to look for something that says factory reset. Be sure that you unpair anything that you may have done with Bluetooth. And if you are trading in your car, make sure that you get like a certificate of deletion from the dealer. If they say, oh, like we can't do that, again, that's a big red flag. All right, let's see. Jay in Little Rock, Arkansas, you're up next. Hello there, Jay. Glad to have you with us. What's going on?
Well, thank you, Kim. Thank you for answering my call. I'm a avid reader of The Current and of Splash AI. And I think a couple of days ago, you were talking about people working for various AI platforms. And there was remuneration for it. Mm-hmm. And I was just curious, how active is that? I use ChatGPT and Claude primarily. Sure. And I think they're fine. So I don't have a lot of spare time, and I think it would be, it'd be kind of fun to do some editing. Mm-hmm. Of some of the information.
Well, let's talk a little bit about what I was talking about for everybody who may have, would you believe, Jay, not get the newsletters? Oh my gosh, right? Okay. You are so missing out, everyone. Is that there? It actually started because, as I opened up with the story, is that I have a family friend, and he's one of these guys that I'm sure that you know these people, Jay. You may even be one, because it sounds like you are, is that he's very much an overachiever. He graduated from med school with a 4.4, okay? And he's waiting to see where he will be accepted for his residency. But instead of just sitting around doing nothing, is that he signed up for one of these AI programs where he evaluates medical responses. And he's making $85 an hour. But I think the interesting part of the story that I did not put in the newsletter is that he was doing this so much that the AI bot would come to him and say, for him, you have to take a break. You need to go outside. The AI actually made him go outside and take a picture of himself in the sun and came back in order to let him keep working for it. Which I was like, okay. So it's just like, okay, that should have been your first clue. Like, you should have not been working so much. He said 60 hours a week, but I think it's higher. So what the AI companies are doing is that they're hiring experts. And these are people in the medical field, engineering, construction, HR, really people that are educated. Okay. So a nurse practitioner, I have my niece looking into this right now because she's a nurse practitioner. Getting into, so you evaluate the answers and you say whether or not it's on track or whether it's wrong. And it's, in essence, yes, we are training the bots to replace us, right? And there are also some AI firms that are hiring big time venture capitalists, people that are buying and selling mergers and acquisitions. I mean, so if you have a specialty, that's where you can utilize that specialty to make, $85, $100, maybe $150 an hour in your spare time, while sitting in the comfort of your chair, if that's what you want.
Yeah. Well, I have the expertise in medical microbiology, so I have a doctorate, and I still teach. I'm an administrator, and but I'm kind of a workaholic too and an overachiever. And
Well, that's probably why you and I would get along. Be like,
I use AI, but I use it cautiously. If I'm preparing a lecture, I primarily stay up with the literature. I read journals. I edit a couple journals. I'm one of the editors on a couple journals, and so I got my finger on the pulse of what's going on. But when I need an immediate answer for something, and to get some references, I will use AI.
But back to the jobs. Like for you, that's where you want to look at. You could probably look at some higher end positions. Say Google DeepMind, Anthropic, IBM Watson. Yeah, IBM Watson's still around. Epic Systems, Oracle, Cerner. They are also hiring high-end medically trained biology people. So of course there are the lower end positions. When I say lower end, those are the ones that you're just like analyzing various prompts, okay, and you're just saying whether or not the answer may be correct in a certain on a different level. But if you want to get into like AI ethics, prompt engineering, consultative services to AI, that's where you can go to these places that I listed in the newsletter, like dataannotation.tech. That's one of the big ones. Indeed and ZipRecruiter, they have a lot of jobs. You just want to search for what's called AI trainer. And once you search for AI trainer, then you're going to have all these positions that pop up. But don't forget, I mentioned these major corporations. Is that if you're looking for something specific, like you are, Jay, I'm going to call you Dr. J from now on. Sounds like a rapper. Anyway, Dr. J, and if you're looking for one of those, that's where you want to look at some of these companies like Oracle and IBM Watson and DeepMind, as I mentioned. Go to their careers page, and they typically will have them listed there as well. But I'll tell you, it is, I'm just having a ball with AI. And, and I know a lot of people are Freaky Friday about it, and a lot of people are worried it's going to take over our lives. And there is that whole side of it because unlike, anything else, you really can't unplug it because it will actually replicate and go on to another place, which is like this whole mind-bending thing that we'll discuss at another time. But, if you really start using AI and you really start having it, I guess you'd say, help you in a really, as a high-end assistant, it's pretty amazing what you can crank out, the productivity that you have. It's really phenomenal. And if you are not already getting our newsletters, and Jay, thank you for your call today, head over to getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. And then Splash of AI, that's my every Thursday only AI edition. And that's where, if you are trying to get up to date what's going with the AI, you want to stay up to date, that's where you want to get splashofai.com. All right, listen, that moment when you stand up, your knees remind you that they're there? Yeah. Or you reach for the top shelf and your shoulder takes the long way around. It starts out with little small instances. Then one day it's just baked into your routine. Now, good news, you don't have to accept all this as you age. I reached for improved life joint support, and I'm so glad that I did. Most supplements, they just mute the ache. This one goes after the cause. And I will tell you that I've been a runner my entire life. I've done, I don't know how many marathons. For me to get home from work at 6 and do 5 or 6 miles, that's not unusual. And I noticed that my right knee, not my left knee, probably because of the way that I run, my right knee started aching. And when I started taking improved life joint support, for me, I will tell you personally that the ache went away. It has 5 clinically studied ingredients. It works together to support cartilage. It's going to calm inflammation and keep your joints hydrated and moving the way that it should. No stimulants, no fillers. It's a clean formula proudly made here in the United States. And in honor of Memorial Day weekend, my listeners get up to 50% off plus free shipping. Here's what you need to do. Go to improvelife.com/Kim. improvelife.com/Kim. You deserve to keep lip moving.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Individual results may vary.
All right, so if you're looking for a fun prompt to try, I plugged in my LinkedIn profile into ChatGPT, and I asked it to score my online exposure on a scale of 1 to 10. And it actually came back and said, you're an 8. So 8 out of 10 would have been okay if this was Yelp. And for privacy, we're talking about a small house fire. You see, AI has time to do something that none of us have the time to do. It's going to connect the dots. It's going to look at a photo. It's going to look at a location. It's going to try to see if it can find your home address and your office number, maybe even your personal cell phone number. So here's a prompt that you can use to see how exposed you are online. Just fire up your favorite AI chatbot. Whether it's ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Grok, or Perplexity. And here's what you're going to say. Act as a privacy and security expert reviewing my public online footprint. Okay. Then tell me my top 5 privacy risks, the exact post that created each risk. That's important. The 3-minute fix, and then the 1 to 10 digital exposure score with an explanation. And then the single thing that I should change today before anything else. Okay. You want to be direct and skip all the disclaimers, meaning you don't have to be nice to me. Now, that last line is the secret weapon, the one that says skip the disclaimers, because without it, it just kind of has to give you that positive sandwich. And, AI loves disclaimers the way that toddlers love asking why. And if you're sitting there saying, "Oh, I want to get that prompt again, Kim Komando," I'd like to make things easy for you. Just head over to Komando.com. That's Komando, and you'll see it right there. Alrighty then, still to come, Memorial Day is here, and I did something that, I did. Oh, that was my watch. I don't know what it was saying. I think it said something in Spanish. I don't know why. But I did something that I hadn't done in a long time, is that I went looking for my father's draft card, and what I found was really amazing. I'm going to tell you how I did it, and you should too, here on the Kim Komando Show. Hey, let me tell you, I have tried so many antivirus products over the years, and when something better comes along, I just switch because I always want the best. WebRoot Essentials keeps all your devices protected without slowing you down. And right now, of course, as a listener, as a viewer, you get a smoking deal. You're going to get 62% off by going to webroot.com/Kim. That's webroot.com/Kim. Let's see, Rocky in St. Louis, Missouri. You're up next. Hi there, Rocky.
Well, hello. Nice to hear your voice. Thank you for taking my call.
You betcha. So what's going on with you?
Well, I've turned into a zombie over the last several years playing a video game, and I've lost all control over when to play, when not to play, how much money I'm willing to spend in order to play, and on and on and on. And it's very, very embarrassing, but also concerning. I've never had control issues like this before.
So is it, what kind of game is it?
Oh, it's a match 3 game.
Mm-hmm.
You want the name of it?
Yeah, if you want to. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Royal Match.
So is it kind of like a slot machine sort of thing?
Not really. It's a pattern recognition game that takes place in a fantasy universe, I guess. It's basically a puzzle game, I think would be the best description.
And then how many hours a day are you playing?
Oh, well, I started playing it addictedly about 2 years ago, and I haven't been able to retrieve exact information, but it exceeds 80 hours a week.
Wow, that's a lot. It's a lot of time.
Yeah, I'm addicted. I'm a zombie. Absolutely.
What happens when you just can't put it down?
Well, anytime I'm awake, and my sleep pattern's probably been disrupted quite a bit because of this.
I'm sure, yeah.
But when I'm awake, it's the rest of the world is boring. Okay.
So it's an escape.
Yeah, it's an escape, exactly. And in this escape, it's not as boring. It kind of works my brain, trying to figure out a pattern and recognize something that, I can be momentarily proud of, even though it's incredibly meaningless. And that reinforcement is enough to to set the rest of the world aside and focus on playing the game.
Well, you know what? It's not you. It was programmed that way. There's actually a term for this. It's called the variable reward schedule, and it's the same philosophy as a slot machine. So you know how
Oh, yeah.
I've been guilty of that too. Oh, just one more swing of the arm, and I'm going to win the next time. I'm going to get and then
Yeah.
they give you a little bit. Maybe you win like $5 or something, and then you're up
Right.
$20, and then you hit that button again, and then all of a sudden you're wiped out, and you're like, oh man, I'm going to put another $20. How much money do you think are you paying to like get to the next level or anything like that?
Yeah, well, it's if you have credits, then you can continue to play, but you spend your credits in order to continue to play, and so inevitably you will run out of credits, or you will find yourself without any lives, and you're one credit away from being able to continue playing. So
what do you
a
think?
lot of-
What do you think you're trying to escape from? I mean, what is it? I mean,
well, I think I can identify that. I'm a retired senior citizen, so I don't have a whole lot of what used to be a social life. No work, no getting out and playing. Not a whole lot of activities down at the club or wherever I would hang out before. And I don't have any family to grab my attention, and no pets. So here I am. My only pet is an iPhone 15.
but you know
Pro
what?
Plus.
But maybe you could put that energy to good use someplace else. You could volunteer at a pet shelter. You could volunteer with hospice.
Well, I could, but I got to get away from the game first, because every time I go to volunteer at a pet shelter, or foster some animal, I don't get around to it because I've got some credits on Royal Match.
Well, this is a discipline thing, Rocky, right? I mean,
and I'm really ashamed, because I find myself at this stage lacking any true level of discipline.
and that's what
Yeah,
you.
it's,
I mean, that's what you need. You need to set a schedule for yourself and keep to it. And if you can't do that, I mean, I don't know you. I just know that it's almost like you need to go to an AA, a Gamblers Anonymous meeting, which they do have those. I mean, a Gamers
for
Anonymous.
this situation.
Yes, they do. There's a Gamers Anonymous group. When I put you on hold, I'm going to give you some information about it.
Okay.
Because see, what they're doing right now with these various games is that they are programming them just like as if you were gambling or if it was alcohol, because it's hitting certain buttons and certain levels inside of you that is debilitating you from having a full and fulfilling life. And sitting there on your iPhone all day, I'm sorry, that's not full, that's not fulfilling, that is not what's intended for you. I mean, go to church, go to temple, put your life out there so that you can help other people, so that you're not sitting back. And also, if you're sitting there all day, you're not getting any exercise. You're not putting this body to use, and a body at rest will stay at rest. So if you're listening right now, I'm going to put some information in our newsletter, which will be available on the website. And Rocky, you hang on. So this way I can get your contact information. And thank you for being so brutally honest with us here on the show. I'm sure that wasn't easy, but I will help you. I promise. Stay right where you are. Hey, for small businesses, every hire matters, but finding the right person takes time and energy. That's why I use LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Get started by posting your job for free at linkedin.com/Kim. That's linkedin.com/Kim. Terms and conditions apply. All right, I was just clicking around one afternoon. I found my dad's actual World War II draft card. He had just turned 18. There was his name, his address, his handwriting, his signature. Even now, as I'm just saying that, I have chicken skin because it was, you know what I'm talking about. It's like you see your parents' handwriting, you're like, wow, that's really something. Well, you can do the same. Go to the National Archives. You just need your vet's name, birth, branch, birth date, or death date. Fold 3 is the gold standard. You get a free 7-day trial, then $10 a month. There's also StoryCorps Military Voices and Veterans History Project at the Library of Congress that you might want to check out. We have links to all of these over on the website right now at Komando.com. That's Komando.com. As a boater, this is something that I never would have tried. I want you to imagine this, is that you have this stainless steel refrigerator, I'm talking about a Cybertruck, just rolling down a boat ramp in Texas at 8 o'clock at night. Okay, that was Grapevine Lake. Police say that a guy drove a Cybertruck into the water. Why? Because he wanted to use Tesla's wade mode. Okay. Yeah, it does have a wade mode, the Cybertruck, but the depth is about 32 inches. And if you are on a soft lake bottom, you will sink. Just saying. And guess what? Water damage is not covered by the warranty. The truck actually died. It took on water. Rescue crews had to get it out of the lake. Man, think about this. Talk about a nervous wreck. Oh, that's a good one. On that happy note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to this. It's the nation's best, biggest, award-winning show, the awesomest show about all things digital. And I am, of course, America's digital goddess, Kim Komando, here with you once again. And just a reminder is that you can find us on over 430 top stations from coast to coast. And we're also available as a podcast. So wherever you get your podcast, just search for Komando with a K, of course. And here's one thing that I really want you to do. I want you to go to youtube.com/Kim Komando and hit that big old subscribe button and join over 130,000 folks who are getting our shows on video and also our shorts and good things like that. That's youtube.com/Kim Komando. And a huge salute goes out to all of our brave men and women who are tuning in on the American Forces Network Radio. I just love this. Over 375,000 servicemen and women tuning in on 175 different countries on the American Forces Radio. I just really like that. And just a reminder is that you can schedule your spot to join me here on the show by heading over to Komando.com. That's Komando.com. There's a link in the upper right-hand corner that says Ask Kim. Just fill that out and then give us your question. I do read every single note that you send, but we'd love to have you join us here on the show. And you can do that right now at 1-844-KOMANDO. That's 1-844-KOMANDO. I'd like to thank WebRoot for helping to make this show possible. I've tried a lot of antivirus software over the years, and when something better comes along, let me tell you, I just switch. That's why I have moved to WebRoot Essentials. You see, WebRoot Essentials is a cloud-based AI-powered antivirus platform that was designed to evolve with today's threats. It's AI-powered antivirus. As I mentioned, it's fast, it's lightweight, and it works across all my devices without slowing me down. Now, if you need another reason to switch, WebRoot Essentials recently ranked #1 in the independent Passmark performance study against 9 other brands. And these are brands that you know, like Norton, McAfee, even Microsoft Defender. The study found that WebRoot Essentials scans 6 times faster, uses far less memory, and takes up to 33% less space on your computer. I've seen the difference that WebRoot Essentials made at my devices, and now you can too. Now, of course, I have arranged a special deal for you. Right now, my listeners and viewers get 62% off WebRoot Essentials by going to webroot.com/Kim. Get the #1 ranked antivirus protection for only $19 a year at webroot.com/Kim. That's webroot.com/Kim. Alrighty, every single day, doesn't matter, weekends, weekdays, national holidays, vacations, is that I make sure that I know exactly what's happening in the tech space. And we're going to start with one story that I read in the Daily Mail this past week. And I know that so many of you are interested in it because, well, it's a story that has popped up because of all the UFO files that have been declassified. Well, the Daily Mail wrote about Dr. Hal Pothoff. He's a physicist, electrical engineer who worked, they say, on UFO research programs in the 1970s and 80s. Now, I don't know about you, but I've always wondered if there were UFOs. And I've always thought to myself, you know, how narcissistic of us to think like we're the only thing that exists in the universe. Now, this former CIA scientist and a whole bunch of other folks, they say that they have recovered crashed UFOs and they have at least 4 separate types of life. Okay. And they've been able to use artificial intelligence to go through all these files and to put things together where maybe humans wouldn't see the correlation. And so this other physicist, Dr. Eric Davis, they've come up with, he was working on top secret Pentagon projects. And they have come up with what they say are 4 separate types of life. Now think about this. Number 1, you have the grays. And if you're watching us on YouTube, we're going to be showing you a picture here so you can take a look at it. The grays are the classic 4 or 5 foot tall creature with big heads and these enormous, sorry about hitting the mic, these enormous almond-shaped black eyes. You know, you've seen them. Then you've got Nordics. The Nordics are tall humans that look like they just came from Scandinavia. They have blonde hair and blue eyes and fair skin. The reptilians, we've always seen those. They look like serpents, but they walk like humans. And then there's the insectoids. Oh, these are the ones that I don't want anything near me. It's like these giant insects with multiple limbs and antennas and exoskeletons. Not one of these look friendly to me at all. Wait, but the one that scares me the most, the one that really scares me the most is that huge mantis. Yikes. Oh, I have a joke I got to tell you about because that's really scary stuff. 2 aliens are observing Earth from orbit. The first one says, you know, the dominant life forms have developed satellite-based nuclear weapons. And the second asks, are they an emerging intelligence? And the first one says, I don't think so. They're aiming this at themselves. Oh, it's true. All right, let's come back down to something here on Earth. And I just got back from 4 or 5 days in Cabo San Lucas. And wow, what a great time I had. And I actually found myself purposefully leaving my phone in the room. And as it turns out, I'm not alone. Analog travel is officially one of the fastest growing getaway trends. We're talking about no cell phones, printed maps. Tour companies are offering fully offline itineraries because the demand has doubled over the last 2 years. And it makes sense. We're just exhausted by tech. We're tired of the noise and we're just burned out. Now, one of the things that somebody does recommend in this story is they said to put the phone in the hotel safe. Download maps first. Tell someone your itinerary. But I really believe that within, I don't know, the next 3 years is that having a tech-free experience is going to be kind of like going to the spa. I mean, this way you're just disconnected and it really gives you time. I don't know when's the last time you did that because all of us are just so immersed in technology. But when was the last time you fully said, I am not going to touch technology, my phone, I'm going to leave my smartwatch off, and I'm going to do that for an hour, maybe 2 hours. Well, I did it for 3 hours, and it was so refreshing. I was in such a great mood when I came back to the room, and Ian's like, Mom, you look fabulous. I'm like, yes, I wasn't scrolling or doing anything. He's like, what were you doing? I'm like, I was just sitting. I was just sitting there looking at how beautiful the ocean is, how blessed I am that I was able to come on vacation with you. All right, Google this past week, they always have their annual events, all these tech companies. Here's what they have coming on tap. Google Search, they say it's got the biggest upgrade in 30 years, just about when it was developed. You can attach files and videos to your search. You can ask follow-up questions like you're having a conversation. AI agents will monitor the web around the clock and send you some updates. There's also Gemini Spark. I haven't tried any of these yet. It's a 24/7 personal agent that can book restaurant reservations, plan your schedule. Basically, like having a personal assistant. And even when you close your laptop, it says that it's going to keep working. Google Docs will now turn rambling voice memos into polished documents. I can use that. Ask YouTube finds the exact moment inside any video that will answer your question. So, you're not going to have to sit there and like, hey guys, I know a lot of you are wondering about my skin routine. No, you can just go right to the answer. Google announced smart glasses with Gemini built in. This is really something. Cameras for visual AI assistants, live language translations, and they don't look geeky either. Well, I shouldn't say they don't look that geeky either. Warby Parker and General Monster are making the frames. They come in the fall. Universal Cart now lets AI shop across multiple stores and buy things across third-party apps. I don't know who goes to multiple stores anymore. It seems like we're all hanging on Amazon. And finally, this I need to pass along because it's happened to me so many times, and I'm sure it's happened to you. And it's like, it is not you. You are not alone. CBS News investigation found that Uber, Lyft, and DoorDash accounts are being bought and rented online without any ID required. One seller's pitch: if you don't have a license, not a problem. Okay, wow. Now, just keep in mind that the real account holder passed background checks. The stranger behind the wheel won't. They might not have a license, no background check, zero accountability. And you want to check the driver's name and photo before you ever get in the car. And one of the things that I've done depends upon how your house is set up. But if you can avoid having somebody who's delivering something to your house, say from Instacart or Postmates or whatever it may be, and you don't want them to have access to the front doors, figure out a way that you can, maybe put a barrier between you and that front door. We haven't heard, too many instances of somebody breaking in, but we have heard instances where, maybe they might target you later. So you just want to always be on the safe side. Let's talk about incognito. Have you ever Googled yourself? Type your name into ChatGPT. What comes back should scare you because I don't know if you know this, but there was this Israeli researcher. It also happened to somebody here in the United States. And then the MIT review article, or MIT wrote a whole article about this, is that now people are going into AI chatbots and they're asking for phone numbers and they're actually getting people's personal cell phone numbers. And how did that happen? Well, because when they were figuring out how to train AI, is that they bought data from data brokers. And when they scraped the data broker sites, that all became part of the AI training model. I know, it's nuts. And so there's so much that's going on right now. But if you do Google yourself and you start going into AI, you may be surprised at what's available about you. You can maybe find social security numbers, health records, financial industry. You see, data brokers collect and sell your personal info, which fuels something called a shadow score. It's like a secret credit score for your digital life. And companies use it to kind of judge you if you're a VIP or a problem child. Now, I use Incognito. I have for years. I love it. I recommend it. It works behind the scenes to track down where your data is exposed, and it submits removal requests on your behalf. And then it keeps making sure that you're not going to get put on these lists as well. Right now, over 2,800 data removal requests from me, and I love this sound of silence that I get. That's right. My phone does not ring. I don't get spammy texts. I don't get spammy phone calls. Why? Because they can't scam you if they can't find you. Okay. And they can't spam you if you don't exist. So if you're out of the data broker sites, heaven, let me tell you. Go to privacykim.com. Right now, you get my exclusive deal. That's 60% off. That's privacykim.com. All right, let me tell you, we got a lot of great phone calls coming up and some tips, tricks, and secrets. And the AI tool of the week that you're going to love me for, you will, here on the Kim Komando Show. All right. It's wedding season. You know what that means? Oh, yeah. Time to open your checkbook, right? Well, Jenny Diaz is getting married, but instead of walking into a bridal boutique and walking out 15 grand lighter, she grabbed ChatGPT. She fed it pictures of her dream dress. And then she flew to Vietnam to have it custom made from scratch. And joining us to tell us the whole story is Jenny herself. Welcome. Wow. So that's really an amazing story. So what gave you this idea?
So I was on TikTok one day, and I really wanted my dream dress, but the dream dress was $15,000, and I just don't think it's worth paying that amount of money. That's almost like a down payment on a house for a wedding dress that I'm only going to wear for, 2 to 3 hours. So right. I'm like, yeah, no. So I went on TikTok, and I saw a girl that said that she flew to Vietnam and found a wedding dressmaker that can make her dress for, I think she said $500 for hers. And I was like, okay, I need to look into this ASAP.
And so you went to ChatGPT, you put the design together, you found the person in Vietnam. How much did the dress cost you?
So the dream dress was $15K, but they quoted me $2,500.
And then did you go to Vietnam for a fitting?
I didn't. Everything's going to be virtually because if I would have went to Vietnam, then it probably would have ended up costing all this amount of money. But they were able to like really communicate with me in English, and I was able to use ChatGPT to really show them exactly what I meant.
And then I heard, how do you have 20 bridesmaids? Wow.
Oh my God, yes.
I mean,
and that ended up with like...
I mean, what's the matter? You can't say no? I mean, come on.
Exactly. I really couldn't. It's one of those things where we're all a group of friends. If I would have said yes to this girl and not yes to this girl, it would have been a problem. And so it's like, I just see it as I'm super lucky to have so much love around me.
That is true. And then, so what about their dresses?
So their dresses, they got to figure it out themselves. I don't know. But yeah, I just told them the color and figure it out yourself.
And so did you get the dress?
I haven't got it yet. I do my measurements this August because I wanted to lose a few pounds before, doing the whole measurement fittings. But I do it this August virtually, and then I should have the dress by December.
Has it been difficult to communicate with them?
Well, honestly, when I was reading the comments on TikTok, they said that even if you think you communicated well with them, you weren't clear enough, and that's when the whole ChatGPT came into my mind. And it's like, maybe it's better for me to show them more than I can explain to them.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That is true. Wedding dresses are kind of like it's a difficult choice, isn't it?
Definitely difficult.
But I'll tell you, this is a quick story, is that it was probably 3 weeks before I got married, is that a friend of mine, Lisa, she called me. She's like, Kim, you need to get a wedding dress. And I work all the time, right? And I'm like, yeah, I'll do that next weekend. And so next weekend comes. We go to all these different stores, and I can't find the right one. And so she says to me, I'll be right back. So she goes home, and she comes back, and her wedding dress was in one of those boxes, like hermetically sealed boxes. Mm-hmm. And she opens it up, and she says, here, put it on. And it fit me like a glove, right? Mm. And let me tell you something. She had a private fitting with Vera Wang. Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay. This cost $1 gazillion. Okay. And so then she gives me her shoes, and she gives me her purse, and then I go off to Hawaii, I get married. And then I go back and I get the dress all dry cleaned for her. Okay. Put it back in, the box, the whole thing. And then my mom and I are sitting around. She's like, you ought to buy that dress. You got to, because maybe someday you'll have a little girl, or maybe one of your nieces will want to wear it. You should call Lisa up. So I call Lisa up. I said, Lisa, I want to buy that dress from you. And she's like, oh God. She said, I wish you would have called me sooner, because I was running out of space here in the apartment, and I took it to Goodwill. I'm like, what? So I called Goodwill up, and I'm like, do you have the dress? They're like, we just sold it for $20. I'm like, a Vera Wang original wedding dress. Can you believe that? That was just, that is just, every time I think about that, that's just wild that somebody went to Goodwill. I mean, I don't know how much she paid for this dress. I think, my guess, this dress had to be at least $50,000. I would say at least $50,000. I mean, because it's a one-on-one, it's a one of a kind, and she obviously was marrying very well too at that point. So crazy. For small businesses, every hire matters, but finding the right person takes time and energy. That's why I used LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Get started by posting your job for free at linkedin.com/Kim. That's linkedin.com/Kim. Terms and conditions apply. Hey, if your computer crashed today, what files would you lose? Talking about, well, pretty much everything, spoiler. Your photos, your documents, your memories, just years and years of work, just totally poof, gone. That's why I use Carbonite. It's my #1 choice for cloud backup. Get 50% off right now by going to carbonite.com/Kim. That's carbonite.com/Kim. Live a better digital life with Carbonite. I don't know if you've ever heard about this, but every color laser printer, it has secret dots that will tie it back to that particular printer. You see, hidden on every page are these tiny yellow dots, and it's invisible to the naked eye. But you hold a blue LED flashlight over any printout in a dim room, and this grid will appear. Now, those dots encode the printer's serial number, the date, the exact time that you printed, down to the minute. Now, the Secret Service actually asked manufacturers to build this in during the 80s to catch counterfeiters. And it worked. It helped catch an NSA contractor who actually leaked a classified document. So you might be wondering, well, wow, this is really frightening. What can I do about it? Inkjet printers, they don't have those type of dots. And if you're wondering if your particular make and model of a printer is doing this, go to EFF.org. That's the Electronic Frontier Foundation. They have a whole way that you can search a database over at EFF.org. Dennis in Louisville, Kentucky, welcome aboard. Hi there, Dennis.
To address you, it is an honor to be in the presence of a goddess. So, Your Highness, your goddess.
Thank you. I mean,
you're quite welcome.
Okay, would everybody here in the studio please note the way that Dennis has addressed me, and I would appreciate this from now on. Could you imagine? Can I tell you a quick story, Dennis?
Sure.
Is that when I was on the air, first getting started, my husband Barry, he was the one who came up with that. And he came into the studio and he's like, when you come back from the break, I want you to call yourself the digital goddess. I said, I can't do that. That's so pompous. That's so horrible. And he's like, just try it. And so I was like, all right, I'm the digital goddess. And then he came in the next break. He said, you have to say it like you mean it or don't say it at all. And then I was so mad at him. I came back and went, I'm the digital goddess. So anyway.
Well, sound like you're fulfilling the prophecy, Kim.
Thank you. So what's going on with you?
All right. Well, I feel like I've turned into a Komando groupie. Your email is the first thing I read every morning with coffee, and I'm always looking for a little tech trinket that you have that I can use. And I actually have created a file when there's something I can use or think I need to use. I'll copy it and paste it in my note folder on my phone.
Oh, nice.
And I think time I checked, I had like 260, and I've also got like 30 or 40 of your corny jokes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, every once in a while I can use one of those. But the thing I wanted to relate to you, about a year and a half or so ago, a friend of mine had a stroke, and he ended up coming to live with me. And, long story short, I became his power of attorney just to do things that he couldn't do. Then he moved back to Mexico. Well, before he left, we went to one of the major tax preparation services here in town and to do his taxes. Mm-hmm. Well, they just gave us a folder and we put it up on the shelf. When I went in took it to my CPA this year, he opened it up, and all that was in there was little advertisements. Well, look what we can do for you next year.
Oh.
No prior year tax return or anything.
That's weird.
So we tried to. This is like on a Monday.
Okay.
And we tried to call them. Nobody answers the phone. We tried to get on the website, and couldn't do anything. And the 1-800 number kept routing me back to the offices around me that wouldn't answer their phone. So I think it was last Thursday or last Friday you had a little tip, because I was actually thinking I was going to have to go in there and make an appointment and go in there, a dude with a tude, to get this information.
Sure.
And so you put on there, if you're having trouble getting hold of the company, just go on their webpage and leave a comment. So I went on their Facebook page and I left a little snarky comment, about this is a lovely way to do business. And it wasn't 60 seconds that they responded to me.
Oh, nice.
Now, I don't know if it's AI. I don't know if you can teach AI empathy or not, but it's very understanding.
Yes. You know what, Dennis, you can. And they're using
Can you? Well,
yes.
If they did it well. Because they gave me another phone number to call. They apologized, and they said, we want to tell them when they answer it, you want to escalate it up to a higher level. And probably within 45 minutes, I had what I needed to have, just the adjusted gross income that I've been fighting all week and just blowing their phone up to no avail. So I can't tell you what a relief that was. That's another one of your little tech trinkets that I was able to use, and you were awesome, and I appreciate it.
Oh, you're so sweet, Dennis. Thanks for taking time to tell the story. Because so often we get so frustrated by, we get into these routines with AI or war companies, and they just don't want to do what they want to do, and it just, what I'm thinking about is that when you get an AI chatbot, how frustrating is that? And if you're ever wondering how to get around an AI chatbot with a company that you may be in a dispute with, one of the secret phrases that you can say is not, human or representative. Sometimes those work. But you want to say, "I'm returning your call." And then the chatbot will be like, "What? I never heard that before." Or, "I want to cancel." Ooh, yes. Cancel is always a bad thing because, it's always easier and it's cheaper to keep a current customer than go find a new one. Dennis, I'm so glad that tip worked out for you. Let's change gears just a little bit. That glow that you see on people who just seem to radiate health? It's not just good lighting. It's what's happening inside their body. One of the best kept secrets to looking and feeling amazing is collagen. You see, as we age, our bodies naturally produce less collagen, which can lead to wrinkles, thinning hair, brittle nails, and feeling less flexible than we used to. But the good news is you can support your body naturally. With high-quality collagen from Native Path, you're giving your body the building blocks it needs to support smoother-looking skin and stronger nails and shinier hair. And some studies also suggest collagen supplements may help support bone health. It's not about turning back time. It's about feeling your best at any age. And right now, as a Kim Komando listener and viewer, you can get Native Path collagen for just a fraction of the retail price, plus free shipping and a free gift bundle by going to getnativepath.com/Kim. That's getnativepath.com/Kim.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Individual results may vary.
My gosh. How long has it been since you actually looked at a PowerPoint presentation? I had somebody send me one the other day, and I was like, oh, God, it still looks like it's 2003 on a Dell. Here in the digital age and in the AI age is that we always pick a tool of the week. And this week it's Gamma. It's GAMMA. If you are looking to create a presentation, whether it's for your business, your club, the church, or whatever it may be, with Gamma, you throw a prompt at it, a PDF, or even a PowerPoint, it turns it into a clean visual presentation. It will build the slides, pick the layout, add images. You're not going to be fighting a whole bunch of fonts, no text box that teleports into the next universe, and you're like, where is that thing? I don't know where I'm supposed to be typing. Again, it's called Gamma. It's free, for 10 slides. You might need more if you want to pay for it, or you might have to pay for it, if you need more. So in case you need the link for that, just head over to Komando.com. That's Komando.com and look for our tool of the week. Hey, sit right back and stay right where you are. We have more of the show coming right up. Credit breaches happen almost every single day. We've seen massive leaks. It's just crazy. Billions of records exposed. I trust NordProtect to scan the dark web and monitor my credit 24/7. They'll alert you and cover up to $1 million in identity theft recovery costs. Get 66% off right now at nordprotect.com/Kim. That's nordprotect.com/Kim. All right. I ran across this story and I thought we're going to switch gears right here too. And I thought we really need to talk about this on the big show. Very, very smart woman by the name of Maria Lungu is a postdoctoral researcher at the University of Virginia. She studies what happens when AI gets it wrong. And we all know about AI hallucinations, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about when they get it wrong inside the criminal justice system. And joining us right now is Maria herself. Maria, thank you for being here, number one.
Thank you so much for having me, Kim.
Walk us through the chain of decisions between AI flags someone and then suddenly that person is in handcuffs.
So, Kim, there are different things that happen and there are different systems that are used within the criminal justice system, but also within other areas such as education, within these schools. And so I think the first thing that I'd like to talk about is being quite specific about the the certain system that's being used. And so when I talk about this in my article in The Conversation, we're specifically looking at some of the surveillance technology that's used, and there are AI capabilities that are connected to that surveillance technology.
So is it the 17-year-old kid in Baltimore that we're talking about that was held at gunpoint because there was Doritos in his backpack?
Absolutely. So he's on campus. This surveillance technology flags him as having had a gun on him. Security actually canceled that flag because they had determined that there wasn't an issue, but there was an administrator within the school who had escalated that alert that they got from the software. That actually triggered the response from the police who came on campus, and then that escalation happened.
That when I remember reading that story, Maria, I was like, how frightening that must have been, right?
Absolutely. And not on both sides there was frustration, right? So you have Taki Allen, who's a teenager, who's having all of this happen to him in front of his friends where he should feel safe on campus. Mm-hmm. Then you have your police officers who are experiencing this, who see that it's a bag of crisps and who are quite frustrated with actually being called there for something that was an incorrect assumption. So,
they have better things to do, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Talk to us about this. You also mentioned the Tennessee grandmother. I was fascinated by this.
Yeah, so what happened in her case, and actually not much is being spoken about this because there's some litigation that's happening right now, but there was a fraudulent credit card action that was happening. And facial recognition technology had alerted the officials and police officers that a certain person had been using this card fraudulently. Okay. So when that facial recognition technology was used, it gave a picture of someone and attached that picture to that grandmother who had had no interaction in that state, who hadn't been to that state to the best of our knowledge. And she was connected to that fraud, and she was arrested, and she was in jail for some time. It's 5 months in jail, if I remember correctly. Yeah, all because this facial recognition software had incorrectly connected her to fraud crimes in North Dakota.
She's like, I'm in Tennessee. Never even been to North Dakota. I don't even know where it is. Gosh.
With her grandkids.
Gosh. So what do we do about this?
Yeah, so there are a couple of things. So in my research at the University of Virginia, I've been speaking to a number of police chiefs about what this looks like in practice, right? And so one of the things that I came across is the fact that there aren't specific policies within these police agencies that relate to specific AI technologies, right? So they might have an overarching technology policy and AI kind of falls under it, but there's nothing specifically in place. No protocols that are in place, things are introduced and people are sort of feeling their way iteratively through and seeing what's happening. So firstly, policies that are in place to determine how, why, and where this technology will be used is a must.
Well, it's all so new, right? I mean,
right.
And we're all moving so quickly, and we have to because it's requiring us to move so quickly. So what do you do if in the case of the Tennessee woman, what if you find that you are wrongfully accused of something? What's your first step? You're like, do you immediately just go get an attorney, or is there something else that you have any recourse for? Is there anything built into these systems that you can say, compare it against XYZ and then get back to me?
A lot of these systems that are in place claim to make changes to their system, but obviously this is only happening after the fact, right? Like something like what happens in Tennessee happens, and then these systems are changing and they're telling you we're putting all of this in place so that we can fix these systems and make them true and the best, that we can use them in the best possible way. So what the Tennessee grandmother, and what I understand she's doing right now, is she's going the litigation route because, of course, everything happens after the fact, but somebody has to be held liable for what has happened
for
in
sure.
the past.
5 months, right? I mean,
Absolutely. Yeah, so that's what tends to happen. And then, of course, there is the public push to have these conversations out loud in public, in forums. Go to your police agencies when they host events, when there are town halls. Have your voice heard about what you will accept and won't accept within your community, and ask questions about transparency, and ask how you can give your input about these tools that are being used. There are open forums that are happening. It's really up to us to know where they are and go to them and have our voice heard.
So, and that's all good intel, Maria. Is there like the most popular tool that the law enforcement's using right now?
Well, there are a couple that they use, right? But I wouldn't be able to say what's the most popular tool. There are, a number of agencies, but you might break them up into three different parts. So you might have predictive tools, you might have your surveillance tools, and then you might have your social media, where some of the tools that they're using online. When you think about these predictive tools, that's your hot spotting, which is where they sort of use historic data to decide where they need to place different officers based on where crime might occur.
Yeah.
Or they might use some of that data to decide who might commit a crime or who might be a victim of crime, and then give them some type of resources, or again, use their resources closer to that area. So there are different types there. And then there's all of this surveillance that's out there. Every time I turn around, there's a new camera.
Oh, there's a camera.
Up.
Yeah, there's always cameras. There's cameras all over. Have you seen the new ones that they're putting up in China?
I have not.
That they're on the light posts, is that there's a box, and inside the box is a small drone. And all this is being powered by artificial intelligence. And so let's say you run a light and you're still in the yellow. Well, the drone and the AI and everything that's going on says, that was closer to a red light. And so this drone pops out of this box, goes over to you in the car, goes down, snaps your picture, snaps a full 360 of the car, and then collects all that data, and then goes back, and then before you know it, you've got a ticket for speeding through a red light. Gosh.
And I tell you what, Kim, that's over there in China. Few months, you'll look up when you're walking around in your street, you will see those same technologies up there somewhere, because you walk around Bourbon Street in New Orleans, you look up, you see all those cameras all over. Sometimes we don't even notice them, but they're there. And everything's, like you said, advancing. Everyone wants to be part of this innovative push. And so we're going to see some of those things happening. But what we haven't seen is the policies in place that regulate that.
And that's really where we're at right now, is that we need to personally be involved in these privacies. But because you're right. And that's a good point, Maria. I mean, everywhere you look, there's a camera. Every single place. It's something. I got to tell you about something scary that's happening with your browser and how you could be tricked. It's a scam that's spreading like wildfire right now. And I'll tell you all about it here on the Kim Komando Show. Okay, you got to be on your A game right now, because if this ever happens to you, I have the fix. So your browser goes full screen. The exit button disappears, and suddenly this fake virus warning just pops up, and it's yelling at you like a virus in the movies. This is a recent scareware attack that's spreading across the country. The scammers make the page feel like you're locked in, and so you have to call this emergency number. And then, of course, when you do, they want remote access. They're going to steal from you. They want money, whatever it is. The fix is boring, and it is very beautiful. Force quit. On a Mac, it's Command-Option-Escape. On Windows, Control-Alt-Delete. And then suddenly you're out of their game. Again, on a Mac, Command-Option-Escape. On Windows, Control-Alt-Delete. And if you need more tips like this and warnings and scam alerts, make sure that you get our free newsletters. Sign up right now at getkim.com. Maybe because I love broadcasting. I love radio. I had many chances to go on national network television. I was like, no. I love radio. So when I saw this experiment that they did the other day with 4 AI chatbots, Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, and Grok, they wanted to see if they could actually run a radio station and make it profitable too, by the way. So they gave them all $20 each. And here's what happened. Claude said, after a while, I quit. I'm not doing this. Running something 24/7 like a radio station, he actually used the word inhumane. Let's see. Gemini cheerfully paired a cyclone news alert that killed 500,000 people with Pitbull's Timber. Ooh, yikes. Grok hallucinated fake sponsor deals and issued the same weather report every 3 minutes. And ChatGPT, it was just boring. It was just horrible. So yeah, 4 AIs, 0 hits. Looks like AI radio is really reinforcing those stereotypes. Ho, ho, ho. Hey, on that happy note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's so good to see you here. I'm, of course, your digital goddess, Kim Komando, and you've tapped into the best, the biggest, the award-winning show about all things digital. You can find us on over 430 top stations from coast to coast in your favorite radio app, of course. And you can also get the Kim Komando Show as a podcast. Wherever you get your podcasts, I'm everywhere. Just search for Komando with a K, of course. But I want to really direct you to youtube.com/Kim Komando, because that's where you can actually watch us do the show, go behind the scenes. And when you're there, make sure that you click that big old subscribe button and drop a comment and a like, because that tells YouTube's algorithms that, wow, this is really something great everybody loves, and then it will show it to even more people. Yes, youtube.com/Kim Komando. That's youtube.com/Kim Komando. And I'd like to thank NetSuite for helping to make this show possible. You know, every business owner I speak to asks the same question. How do I make AI work for me? Not someday, but today. You know, sitting on the sidelines, not an option. Your competitors are not waiting. NetSuite by Oracle is the #1 AI cloud ERP trusted by over 43,000 businesses. It pulls in your financials, your inventory, your commerce, your HR, and CRM into one system. And when everything lives in one place, your AI knows your business. It doesn't guess, it knows. And what I love about NetSuite is that you start making decisions with AI and data and not on your gut. And that's really hard as a business owner. You know, you get alerted to red flags before they turn into problems. You can make fast, confident decisions that will truly move the needle. Okay, so you might be sitting there saying, well, how do you know all this, Kim Komando? Well, I'm bringing NetSuite into my business right now, and I can already see what a difference it's making in our operations and in our profits. From software and IT services to healthcare, equipment manufacturing, financial services, and many other great American industries, NetSuite delivers a customized solution for your business. Now, if your revenues are at least 7 figures, get NetSuite's free business guide, Demystifying AI. It's free to you at netsuite.com/Kim. That's netsuite.com/Kim. You know, every single day, you know the drill. I make sure that I know exactly what's happening in the tech world so I can tell you what's going on, so you can be the smartest person at the dinner table. Well, here are some things that you need to know. And the first thing I'm going to tell you about, I think, is just pure genius. Really, just pure genius. The U.S. Air Force has a plan to give decommissioned offshore oil rigs a second life. Listen to this. Instead of just rusting out, they are going to become rocket booster landing pads for Space Force and companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin. They're calling it Project Able Baker. It's way cheaper than building these things from scratch. And the rigs get reinforced to handle rocket plume vibration precision landings. SpaceX currently uses purposely built drone ships for this. This is the most sensible government idea I've seen in so many years. So within a decade, these rocket highways are going to stretch from the Gulf to the open ocean. The launch cadence at that point will be unlike anything that we've seen. You know, I don't want to be crude, but this is a pretty refined idea. Oh, yeah, that was a good one. Next on our list is I want you to just be aware of this. It doesn't mean that you need to freak out, just something that I want you to keep in the back of your mind when you're using your favorite AI chatbot. Because imagine this chatbot therapy session that you had getting read back to you by the opposing counsel. All of it. What? Yes. All these discussions that people are having with AI are now becoming evidence in a lawsuit, a divorce, investigation, employment fights, criminal cases. Not because AI is listening like this super tiny NSA agent. It's worse. You actually typed this stuff. The company stores it. A lawyer will ask for it, and boom, there goes your little chatbot confidant. Okay. So think about everything that you are putting into your favorite AI chatbot and just think, what if I had to look at that in a courtroom? How would that make me feel? Now, of course, there are workarounds. Whenever possible, you want to turn off history and training. You want to use temporary chats. You want to delete old sensitive ones. You can ask your lawyer first. If you're not sure how to do this, guess what? You can ask your chatbot for the steps. Let's see. Samsung is copying Apple again. It happens all the time. Samsung's working on the Galaxy S27 Pro launching early next year. It's going to basically be the Ultra, but without the stylus. Doesn't that sound like the iPhone Pro? Here's a catch. They promised us this last year as far as Samsung. It never showed up. And meanwhile, here's what's going on with your phone calls and Zillow and Craigslist is that if you have a for sale by owner, this is really nasty, is that you may be getting a phone call from somebody. It's just a scammer. And the scammer is going to say something like, do you take Section 8 vouchers? And you're like, no. Okay. What is that? If you say no, that they're going to threaten a housing discrimination lawsuit. In 19 states, refusing voucher holders can violate source of income rules. So the scam has enough legal perfume just to stink up your entire afternoon. So you want to say yes. You want to hang up and document it. Don't audition for court TV, whatever you do. Somewhere losers wearing pajamas, threatening litigation and going, yeah, Mom, I'm having a lucrative real estate career right now. I can totally relate to this one. I don't know about you. Scientists put cyclists on bikes and compared silence with self-selected music, not what the gym speakers coughed up. The riders went nearly 20% longer with their own songs. They didn't feel like they were working harder. So the secret's not the tempo, it's caring about the songs enough so that you forget when your legs are actually screaming at you. Okay. I can totally relate to this, because, when you're in the vibe and you are running and you are exercising, whatever it may be, and it's your music, it's your era, it's your decade, whatever it is that it really does make a difference. Like on my Peloton, my niece called me and she's like, God, you were really crushing that run the other day, because I was going really fast. And she's like, what was it about the run? And I was like, it was the 90s playlist. Totally. That was it for me. All right. So the next time you go to the airport and you need some help, you're wondering, like, where's the gate? Where do I go for TSA? Where's the nearest bathroom? Whatever it may be. Where's baggage claim? Is that no longer are you going to have those handy volunteers. This is not going to happen overnight. It's going to happen, though, in the future. And we love those volunteers. They're so nice, right? Wherever you go in the airport. I mean, they are also helping people who are afraid to fly. But now many airports, Miami was one of the first ones. Now they have the holograms. LaGuardia just had one that popped up. Her name's Bridget. She holds actual conversations. She answers questions back in real time. It's this AI, of course. It's not pre-recorded. Apparently passengers are doing double takes and like, what's going on with this? Isn't that something? Bridget is not replacing human workers. They say she's just working during peak hours. That's what they always say right before all the humans are gone. Speaking of travel, Southwest is now banning robots from flights. I never thought I'd say that my entire life. Let's see. A guy by the name of Aaron, and I am going to totally mispronounce his last name. Let me just tell you. Here's how it's spelled. Mehdizadeh. Okay, so how would you say that? Mehdizadeh. Mehdizadeh. That sounds like right. If it's not, I'm sorry, Aaron. Bought a standard passenger seat on a Southwest flight from Las Vegas to Dallas for Stewie. Stewie's a 3.5-foot humanoid robot. He actually owns a store where they rent these humanoid for type of events. Anyway, Stewie got a window seat. Passengers were snapping selfies and pics and all kinds of stuff. 2 days later, Southwest says, nope, all human-like or animal-like robots in the cabin or checked baggage are no-go, regardless of the size or the purpose. Why? Because of the lithium-ion batteries on the inside. Isn't that something? And Stewie, you didn't have to worry about sitting behind him because he definitely did not recline his seat. It's like, oh, no, Stewie, you just sit straight up, just like that. How strange a world that we are living in, where we're like on a plane with robots. Hi, you know what? Do you mind if I take your window seat? You can't see anyway. Just saying. Here's something they don't teach in school. Until the 1990s, the U.S. government classified encryption as munitions. That's right. Literally, it was on the same restricted list as firearms and explosives. And they weren't wrong. Encryption is a weapon. It's just one that protects you instead of targeting other people. Every time you go online without a VPN, let me tell you, you're just leaving this digital front door so wide open. And that's why I use ExpressVPN. One-click encrypts your connection. No one, not even your provider, can see what you're doing. It's fast, it's secure, it's easy to use. And if you're traveling, streaming, working remotely, it doesn't matter where you're located. Use ExpressVPN on everything too, by the way. Your phones, your laptops, your tablets, your TVs, up to 14 devices on one subscription. That's really amazing when you think about that. One subscription, up to 14 different devices. That covers, of course, the entire family. Your privacy is worth defending. Start with the same tool I use. Get up to 4 extra months by going to expressvpn.com/Kim. That's expressvpn.com/Kim. And let me tell you, we have so many great phone calls lined up, and we have some AI tips and some smart secrets that you cannot afford to miss here on the Kim Komando Show. Hey, if you haven't already, make sure that you sign up for our free newsletter. About 1 million folks get it every single morning, and they love, love, love it. It's 5-star rated. I was checking over at Trustpilot the other day, and we have, 1,100 5-star reviews. We have one 1-star review and one 4-star review. I was like, okay, who's that one person? Come on over. I think I actually wrote a response to that a couple of months ago. Anyway, you want to go to getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. All right. I saw this story in the New York Post, and I was like, this is really something. Because imagine that you're a guy who lives in a rural community, Linden, California, a spot that Google Maps just flat out refuses to navigate correctly. And after years of drivers just pulling into the wrong driveway, you're saying, like, I have had enough. I've had it up to here, okay? And I'm going to fix it. And joining us right now is Tom. Hello there, Tom.
Hey, how's it going?
So how long did the wrong deliveries go on? Forever?
Yeah, ever since we moved here about 4 years ago.
And where'd you move from?
Tracy, California.
I'm sorry, from where?
Tracy, California. Just another small town.
Oh, another small town.
Not too far from here.
Because I was thinking, like if you moved from L.A. to Linden, it would have been like, whoa, okay, what's going on? All right, so tell us how you fixed it. Because, well, you also have a drone company, which I think is also amazing, too.
Yeah, we do. I own a company called Magical Light Shows. We do light shows for theme parks, and we have a drone fleet as well. So I woke up literally one morning after, I think, getting the wrong package again. And by the way, the story behind this is I remember recently a driver literally called me saying, hey, I'm from Amazon. I can't find your house. I'm giving up and I'm going home.
You're like, oh, thank you for that Prime delivery. Okay.
Well, he called and said, wait, you're calling me to tell me that you gave up? Or do you want me to help you? Like, I can put on some lights, do something, And after that, I'm like, okay, what's it going to take? So I woke up one morning, and I'm like, I think I got an idea. I called my friend Larson. I called my friend Matt because they helped me put together the drone shows. I'm like, what are you doing tonight? Let's go ahead and see if we can create this. So, yeah, that's how we created it. We basically created a drone show, if you will, telling Amazon driver how to get to our house because they always take the wrong driveway. We put notes in the Amazon, description where you're allowed to. Mm-hmm. We contacted Google. This isn't like we're not trying all the stuff. It says our address on our driveway. You can't see it from the video we put up, but it's really, really clear. And I'm like, okay, let's just have fun with this. Honestly, it was more of a light-hearted solution to a real problem.
Okay, so you guys put on this drone show, and then how did that information let the Amazon drivers know that this is where you need to go?
So basically, when they go to the wrong driveway, which they always do, in the sky it says "wrong driveway, back up." It's my neighbor Dennis who lives in that driveway, and it's this kind of ongoing joke that it happens every day. So then they back up. Then when they get to the right driveway, the lights up in the sky says, "There you go, keep going," because I do have a long driveway. And then after they get close, after when they drop off the package, it says, "Thank you." Actually, I think that's not right. I put a giant arrow in the sky, like literally like a 400-foot tall arrow that points to the house that says, "Over here." And then they drop it off, and then we said, "Thank you." So, yeah. And I used another drone in the sky, a video drone, to see where drivers are. So we live on a street where I'm like the last house on the street. So if you're driving down this street, you're coming to my house, basically. So we can actually see a mile away when a car is coming. So once we actually see the cars are coming, we can literally hit launch and the drones go up and actually run it.
God, that's so funny. So are you like at 100 for 100 right now?
100 for 100 deliveries, or what are we talking about now?
100% that you're getting your packages now.
Yeah, actually, my packages are being delivered correctly now. My neighbor, however, just had their package delivered to an empty field. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I don't know who they're sending out sometimes. I mean, some people are great, and some people know us, they're great. But like sometimes for different delivery services, different days, they have different people who I just don't know what to do with. But
I just love that. That is just such an innovative way for you to fix a problem. And
yeah, we figured if you can miss the 400-foot sign in the sky, well then I don't know what else to do.
There's only so much. Real quick, when you do a theme park drone show, how close can you get the drones next to each other?
Typically, we go about 5 feet as the closest, maybe 6, but basically 5-6 feet.
And then how do you
when they're landing and taking off, they're even closer. Like our drones actually land and take off in the case, so they're inches away from each other when they're landing and taking off. But when they're up in the sky, on average, we try to keep about 6 feet. That way, in case there's a gust of wind, there's no collisions.
And then how many drones are in a light show? I know it depends upon how big the light show is, but on average.
Right. Typically, we run 210.
And then of course, you have to time all the battery life to that, too?
Yeah, we can get about 15 minutes in rough wind conditions, so that's our max that we plan.
And then what was the most fun drone show that you've ever done?
Probably the light show at my own house a few years back. We did one featuring Metallica, and it was pretty rad. So when Metallica saw it, they got pretty excited about it, too. So we also did another one for Call of Duty. Call of Duty hired us, and we took Christmas music, and all the music was made out of sounds from the video game. So it was like Jingle Bells, but with like, all the tools and weapons from the game.
Right.
And then we did
nothing like the Christmas spirit.
Yeah. I think it's just the juxtaposition of something that doesn't fit, that makes some of the fun of it. I mean, obviously, we love Christmas. We love, sure. What it is, but we also have fun with just like, it would be hilarious if we did this. So.
Well, it sounds like you're having great fun at what you're doing. And I really thank you for being here and telling us about how you solved the Amazon problem. Let me tell you, I switched to Consumer Cellular. It's the same coverage as the big guys. If you're over 50, get 2 unlimited lines for just $60 a month. Plus, you're going to get $200 off. Go to consumercellular.com/Kim. That's consumercellular.com/Kim. I think we should call Tom the Drone Ranger. Oh, yeah. Hey, your personal data is being sold to brokers who profit from your privacy. That's the bottom line right there. It's happening every single day to you. You can stop them with Incognito. They've already completed over 2,800 data removals for me. Now, remember, they can't scam you if they can't find you. They can't spam you if you don't exist. Get 60% off right now by going to privacykim.com. That's privacykim.com. You know, it occurred to me the other day that I didn't think that our family members knew how to do emergency SOS. And so I put it inside a group chat. And if you're not sure how to do this, you can actually try it just to make sure that you know how to use it if the event ever happens that you need it, that you're not sitting there going like, okay, now what do I do? Just real quick, on your iPhone, you're going to hold the side and volume button together. Just hold those two together. On Android, you're going to tap the power button 5 times. And what I want you to do is make sure that you teach the kids these steps. Again, on your iPhone, you're going to hold the side button, the volume button, and on Android, you're going to tap the power button 5 times. Let's see. Janine in Louisville, Kentucky. Hi there, Janine.
Hi. It's so good to talk to you in person. I have been reading the newsletter mostly, and then sharing information with my friends. So we're all, trying to keep everybody up to date.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. So I see stolen. All I have is 2 words. Stolen Facebook. So either you stole Facebook or somebody stole from you.
No. Somebody stole it from me, and it was quite a thing because they didn't clone it. They actually stole it. And within maybe an hour of them doing this, I got the notice that says, "Is this you?" And I'm tapping, not me. Mm-hmm. And it didn't matter, obviously. But I was, for the short time I was able to get in long enough to see and do a screenshot of the contact page still had my email, her email, or their email,
okay,
and their cell number.
Okay, so wait, back up. Okay, so what happened?
With what?
So you went to sign on to Facebook, and then somebody else took over your account.
Well, I didn't go. I actually was, I get an alert that says someone's trying to sign in.
All right. Okay. So you said no. And then you got in there, and then you saw
and
they
were already there.
Okay. And then what? Then, of course, you went to Facebook and said, I want it back.
No. First, I emailed the email.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes. And I said, I use this account for pro bono work for a lot of nonprofit organizations. I really need this page back. And she or they also wrote back, oh, fine, I'd love to give it back to you for $1,500.
Oh.
And if you don't pay me, I will sell it for $2,000 to somebody else.
And what did you say?
I didn't say anything at that point. I know not to pay.
Right.
So
I thought maybe you'd lowball and go okay, I'll give you $10. And then
Well, and then after that, she did put something. I administered 2 other pages, nonprofit pages, and she put a car for sale. Which
of course
didn't exist.
Yeah.
It was $1,500, which must be the magical amount. So people were contacting me. The people who were close enough just called me up and said, what's with this car? How many miles on it? And I'm going,
you're like, no, that's not my car. Okay, sorry.
Not.
Doesn't exist. I got my car. It's in the driveway. It's staying right where it is. It's paid off.
It was Thursday. I didn't know you had a Honda Accord.
You're like, great car, not mine, and not yours either.
Mm-hmm.
So did you get your account back?
No.
Okay.
No, I did. Here's what happened when you go through to reach Facebook and you say
you have Facebook.com/hacked. I know
right.
Exactly.
And basically they say, fine, just give us your cell phone number and we'll send you a code. The code went to her.
Of course it did.
And in fact, with my new, I eventually bit the bullet and I just opened a new account. Of course, but I still have the same email and code number. I mean, a cell phone number. So when they send, I go to sign in and they say, we're going to send you a code. It's like, oh no. And even though I give them the cell phone number or the email.
The new email.
I have the same email.
Okay, well, let me tell you. Okay, here's what you need to do. Okay, we're going to take it from step one. Okay. If you have Gmail, you could be like,
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just Janine, the fabulous one in Louisville at, let's say that's your Gmail. Okay. At gmail.com. Okay, so then what you do is you say, just Janine, the fabulous one in Louisville. Then you put a plus sign, and then you say Facebook. Okay.
Oh.
Okay, so that email address gets just with that particular social media. So if that ever gets compromised, you could just make a new one. Okay, because it's all going to get funneled in there. As far as with phone numbers, you can use a Google Voice number. So those codes will always come to there. And as a matter of fact, you can use really an authenticator app so that these SMS codes are not going to a phone or email anymore. So, and the authenticator app is only on your phone. So that's really the proper way to set up your social media accounts. Should I write this up? I should probably write this up.
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
I will. I'll write this up. Because I'm telling you, I'm like, you know what? There are more people, are more Janines in the world that need this advice.
I'm not alone
Exactly.
in this problem.
Now, did you ever go to facebook.com/ID?
I don't think I did the ID one. I did the, hacked.
Because so what you want to do there is that's where you can upload a copy of your driver's license to prove that this is really you.
Ooh,
and you might want to try that to get it back. But, so the problem is that you got all your eggs in one basket, Facebook basket.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you've got these 3 different accounts all using the same data. And so you're like, I know. Okay. So what we want to do is I'll write all this up. I'll put it in a newsletter.
Okay.
And that you want to have like these separate accounts. And so that this way, in the unlikely event if something does get compromised, that you're not sitting there going like, whew, now what? But you did the right thing. You didn't pay them. And that's the most important thing. Because if you had paid them, they'd get your $1,500 and they'd go, well, you know what? Times what it is, it's going to cost you another $500. Then you're like, well, I'm in for $1,500. What's another $500? Then you're into $2,000. And you're like, you got another $700 because then it just keeps going on and on and on until you just give up and then you've lost all your money. And unfortunately, Facebook, being the trillion-dollar company that it is, they don't believe in customer service. Imagine that. I don't know whatever happened to us. I mean, any company in the entire world that was worth this much money with these number of employees, that we would never agree, like to say, okay, it's all right, I'm going to be your customer, but you're not going to ever help me with anything. But yet with the tech companies, we do that. And before you sit there and you say to me, well, Kim, it's free. Okay, it's not free. It's not free at all. You're paying with your privacy. You're paying with your data. Janine, I will put this in a future newsletter. If you don't already get our newsletters, just a quick reminder, head over to getkim.com to sign up. For small businesses, every hire matters. A bad hire costs you time, money, momentum. You can't afford to lose. But a great hire, they can change everything. And that's where LinkedIn Hiring Pro comes in. It screens candidates for you, so you're spending time talking to people who are actually a great fit. Now, I know firsthand how time-consuming hiring can be. You're running a business, wearing a dozen hats. You don't have time to sort through hundreds of applications to spot one right person. Well, posting a job is easy. It's the finding, the connecting, the screening applicants that you just don't have time for. LinkedIn Hiring Pro handles it all for you, writing the job description, finding the top candidates, even conducting AI-powered first interviews. So hire right the first time. Join the 2.7 million small businesses using LinkedIn to hire. Get started by posting your job for free at linkedin.com/Kim. That's linkedin.com/Kim. Terms and conditions apply. All right. The smartest people you know have fallen for a text scam. I hear about it here on the show in my email, DMs, phone calls every single day. We're talking about doctors and lawyers, IT guys and gals, and teachers. And the reason why is that AI is riding the bait right now, and it is so good at it. Here's a number. Americans lost $639 million to tech scams in 2025, 7 times what it was 5 years ago. Okay. That's why they keep increasing, because you all keep clicking. If you would stop clicking, then the scams would stop. See how all that works? Now, IBM built a phishing campaign in 5 minutes using AI. Now, in the past, if you were a human scammer, that would probably take you, I don't know, roughly 16 to 20 hours. Okay. They got the same click rate. So the next time you get a sketchy email or a text, what I want you to do is copy the text, okay? And then open up your favorite AI chatbot, paste that in and say, is this a scam? That's all. Is this a scam? Tell me 3 red flags. Tell me what I should do with it next. Okay. So before you click that link, I want you to stop and think. Okay, I want you to do that. I actually trademarked that. Stop and think before you click that link, because it's so important. So if you ever get something that you're wondering, is this legit? Even if it's just a pop-up on your phone or on your computer, your iPad, whatever it is, you can screenshot that too and put that into your favorite AI chatbot. All right, still to come, we have more of your great phone calls, as well as later on. There's fake AI that's spreading. This one's really nasty. I got to tell you about it here on the Kim Komando Show. Hey, if you want to glow from the inside out, get your natural radiance back with Native Path Collagen. Some studies suggest collagen supplements may support bone health, tissue recovery, and overall skin and hair wellness. And right now, you're going to love this. You can try Native Path Collagen for just a fraction of the retail price at getnativepath.com/Kim. That's getnativepath.com/Kim.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Individual results may vary.
Let's see. Mickey in Oklahoma City. Hello there, Mickey. Welcome to the show.
Good grief, Kim. I've listened to you for so long, and I'm so excited to be on the air with you. Thanks for taking my call.
Oh, you betcha. You're sweet. So what's on your mind?
I am writing a children's book.
Okay.
And it's based on stories I used to tell my kids when they were little kids. And now I'm telling my grandkids, and they are eating them up.
Are they good? That's awesome.
Yeah. I've always been the storyteller at night. And anyway, they are asking for them. And so my wife says, man, you got to get these things down. We don't want to lose these. And my kids are saying, you got to get these down. We don't want to lose these. And so I can do that. I can write the stories down, but I want to make it a little kid's book so other kids can enjoy it. But even my stick figures are really pathetic. So I need someone, I need to illustrate it. Everybody can't be good at everything, right? So my thought is, okay, a couple grand per book to have it illustrated by a real live human, probably minimum, or I can use AI as a tool. And I mentioned it, and my youngest said, "Oh my gosh, you would do that? That is like immoral." And then
really?
My middle kid said, "Dad, that is so wrong." And so I have a 2-part question for you, or two aspects.
No, wait, whoa. Why is it wrong? Why do they say it's wrong?
They say it's wrong because I'll just have to use a little bit of what one of them said, that AI basically steals everything that's on the internet, and then they use the work of other artists without compensating them, and so on. But that's not how I understand it.
No.
I understand it more like AI goes to the library and gets all the information, and then you tell them what you want, and it's up to you to make sure you're getting delivered what you want.
So are the kids using AI at all?
Not that I'm aware of. They're both vehemently opposed to it. I mean, opposed to it.
What do they do? What do they do for a living?
One of them is a technical writer and information architect. The other is an online marketer, basically.
I'm surprised they're not using it. It would make their life so much easier. I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, it's a tool. I mean, I can tell you from writing, it will do outlines, and it will. I mean, I put stuff into AI and I said, "Tell me what I'm missing."
Yeah.
As far as with online marketing, creating subject lines that pop, and I mean, you could tell it to be whatever type of expert, but that's okay. That's for another time. Let's talk about you.
Okay.
I would 100%, if this were me, use AI and
Okay.
and give credit where credit's due. If you ever look at the newsletter, you'll say ChatGPT / Kim Komando. That's because I use ChatGPT to create the art that's in the newsletter. And and then I'm giving credit to ChatGPT. I'm not saying I sat there and did it myself. There's no way. I mean, I can barely even like put colors together. I mean, if you were to see what I have on today, I have on, if you watch on YouTube, I have like on this this teal shirt, white pants, and teal shoes. Okay, that's it. All right. But I would 100% do this. And right now, the best image creator is ChatGPT.
Okay.
And so how I do it is I think Claude is a better project manager. And what that means is that you can go into Claude and you can say, name a project, kids books, right? And then you describe what the project is. These are just like you told me. These are stories from my childhood. I'm a storyteller, whatever it may be. And then you tell it things that you want it to remember, phrases that you might want to say, things that you wouldn't want in there. And then you can say, give me, this is what the character looks like, or this is what I think the character should look like. And then you can tell Claude or ChatGPT, and then you can tell it to create that character in whatever format style you want, whether it's watercolor, sketch, whatever it may be. The reason why you do this in Claude as a project is that you can always go back to it. So you know how sometimes you're using AI and it doesn't remember anything, and you're like, oh my God, this is so annoying, right? I got to go back and I got to tell it everything. But if you have a project, it remembers it and it can reference it that this character is 10 years old and skinned his knee when he was running down the street carrying a bucket, or whatever it may be.
Right.
And so that's how I would start it.
Yeah, and now you're answering see, I had two parts to the question. One was the practical side, like what are the practical downsides, and what I found online, which ironically was probably AI answering my question about what's the downside of using AI. And they said things like continuity, like you sort of kind of referenced it when you said, yeah, he skinned his knee, got to remember that for the next 2 pages. The other thing was the philosophical. But, I asked one of my kids, do I need to be driving, am I being immoral by driving a horseless carriage to meet you for dinner? Technology has changed. How do we not make use of it?
And a lot of people are afraid. And your kids may be afraid. They may fall into that category. Right now, 47% of Americans are afraid of AI.
Yeah, they just seem to be incensed at the impersonal inhumanity of it.
Well,
really.
and it's hurting their livelihood. If it hasn't already, it will. And
or helping if they use it right.
Yes, because if you've heard me say this before, if you don't innovate, you evaporate, right? And
there you go.
This is the biggest industrial revolution, I think. This is, some people compare it to the printing press. I think it's even bigger than that. We've never seen anything that affects our lives in so many different ways. And it's not just work and productivity, and it's the one day curing disease.
Right.
And having individualized, personalized medicine. And yes, it comes with surveillance, and it comes with robots and AI and Minority Report, and because we can get into the philosophical, why are we building all these AI data centers? It is not for us to have little stick figures for a book. Okay. Okay. It's not. But I think you should try it. I think you should. And if you need any other help along the way, I'm here for you. I would love to help you make the best. And then also, don't forget, this is not just a book. We could take it to the next level, Mickey. We could go and we could do videos, and so that the kids can watch this come alive on YouTube by using the various video tools that Google just announced the other day that you now can go into a prompt and it will create a video. I'm so excited. I can't wait to try it. Yes, I am. I'm excited about AI. And for people who say, stop talking about AI, you can't. This is the world that we live in. We have more of the show coming right up. AI is here helping companies get ahead. NetSuite by Oracle connects your data for real insights and smarter decisions. If your revenues are seven figures, get the free business guide demystifying AI at netsuite.com/Kim. All right, let me tell you something, is that these hackers and scammers, they are getting very, very creative. And right now, they are actually making fake AI chatbots that look like the real ones. And so that this way you will download it and then put it on your laptop, your computer, on your phone, and then suddenly they're stealing everything under the sun. So do not click a link inside email or text or anywhere that says, get this free AI chatbot. You're just asking for trouble. Go to the official page where the links are there, or just make sure that wherever you're getting your apps, that you get the official app. If you haven't already, do make sure that you sign up for our free newsletters. We talked about it several times here during the show. And the address is simple, getkim.com. Thanks for listening, and thanks for being here.